So, special taxing districts.
Yeah, and let's do a really quick shout out to Nancy Umbright's office up in Longmont. We've got a lot of her agents joining us this morning. So welcome and feel free to participate. Please post comments and questions because you guys were the ones that spurred us on to even do this class because I know you guys were wanting to learn about special taxing districts. So
cool.
Welcome,
Awesome.
Longmont office.
Welcome, yes. And always Longmont, Colorado Springs, and of course Misty. She's always here up in the mountains, and Marcel. So you guys are always welcome to be on our Facebook chats.
Exactly.
So special taxing districts.
All right.
What are they?
So let's hop in. Let's go to our very first slide. And Colorado, since we created this class in March, these numbers have changed a little bit. Colorado actually has over 3,000 special taxing districts. They're nothing new. These have been around since the 1940s. They just weren't as plentiful as they are now. In 1980 is when we really started seeing these special taxing districts crop up a lot more often. And that was during the formation of the Highlands Ranch Metropolitan District. The Highlands Ranch Metropolitan District still remains one of the most prominent special taxing districts in the U.S., not just in the state of Colorado, but in the U.S. And that's because of the success that they've had with the developer who put in the infrastructure and how he designed this community in such a cost-effective manner. A lot of the special taxing districts that are cropping up now that we'll talk about are not so cost-effective. Yeah. So some people in Highlands Ranch don't even realize that it is a special taxing district.
Yeah, they did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And it's the gold standard by which all should follow and many do not.
Yeah. So with our special taxing districts, the way that they come about is all these developers come in. They're trying to meet the supply and demand or the demand issues that we're having here in Colorado. So new construction is really the answer to that. We need to build more homes for all the people that are coming. So the developers go out, they buy the land. Well, the first thing that they need to do is put in the infrastructure. And the infrastructure is going to be your water, your sewer, your roads, your sidewalks, parks, trails, open space, all of that's infrastructure. That costs millions of dollars to do. And in the early days, these subdivisions were so small that the builders would come out of pocket with that money. And they'd put in the infrastructure and then they would pad the price of the homes to recoup that cost. Now these subdivisions are so big and there's so many of them. A Richmond Homes, a KB Homes, a Lennar. They won't just be doing something in Aurora. They'll be doing something in Longmont. They'll be doing something in Colorado Springs and something, in Littleton. So they've got a lot of different communities going at the same time. They don't have deep enough pockets to put infrastructure in all these communities.
Well, the expectations are much greater because
Yes.
Really when I started my career, I did work with developers, and a developer was someone who would come in and do the infrastructure, and they would generally then sell to the builders. Mm-hmm. So they develop the land, do infrastructure, but again, back when I started the business, we're talking about the basics.
Yeah.
The road, the sewer, electricity.
Yeah, getting your utilities in.
Your utilities. Now, the expectations are green space, parks, huge clubhouses, swimming pools.
Fitness centers galore.
So it's cost prohibitive for a small company to come in and develop for what people are expecting in today's world.
Yeah. So the only way that they can do this is to seek financial assistance, and they do that typically through bonds. So they'll finance all the infrastructure, and then what they end up doing is they tax or mill levy the home buyers that end up purchasing in those communities. So let's just talk about some of the technical parts of this. So what is a special taxing district? According to state law, for a developer to form a special taxing district, they must provide at least two services. And for example, we've already discussed, those would be sidewalks, roads, water, utilities, green space, fire service. So a special taxing district by definition is a public entity or local government that's created by the state to provide necessary public services that the community or the city is unable to provide. And as Todd mentioned, the expectations from the consumers right now are so much higher. They want all the bells and whistles. They want that community to have anything and everything that they possibly can. And so that's why these special taxing districts are created, because the city can no longer provide these amenities that our clients are wanting. So again, the public services we've already talked about: water and sanitation, safety protection, transportation, street improvements, fire protection, parks and rec. So those are all the things that a special taxing district can provide. So for a special taxing district to be created, what happens is the developer goes in and he creates a site plan. So basically stating how the land is going to be utilized. And he submits that site plan to the county. The county reviews it, and once the county approves it, they can move forward. So the individuals that are responsible for implementing the site plan are going to be your developer, typically the developer's spouse, and then a handful of business partners. And they're going to be the ones that help make sure that the site plan moves forward. Once the site plan is approved and moving forward, then the developer will elect board members. So they'll put together a board of directors. Now, it makes perfect sense that the developer wants to sit on that board. He wants to have a say as to the direction that the community is going. So it's likely going to be the developer, one or two of those business associates that he aligns with, and then they can elect other individuals to participate. And they'll have up to between 5 and 7 members of the board. So the criteria for being a board member is that you have to be a registered voter in the state of Colorado, and you either need to reside in the boundaries of the special taxing district, or you have to own property in that special taxing district. So,
which makes sense. They want to have a direct relationship with the development.
Right.
They're looking for it to be the best thing for everyone, and if you're part of it, well, then
you're going to be looking out for
yourself.
the best interest of everyone, versus, you know, someone who lives in Castle Rock that's on the board of, say, downtown Denver.
Right.
They're maybe not going to have the same.
they're more committed.
Yes,
they're
exactly.
More committed.
Exactly. Yeah. So these 5 to 7 board members are the ones that are going to determine how much money is going to be spent on this infrastructure. They're going to be the ones that file all the paperwork with the state of Colorado, because the state of Colorado has very stringent transparency guidelines, and you have to submit financials and reports and minutes and all kinds of stuff. So they're going to be in charge of doing that. And then they're going to be in charge of determining how the revenues are going to come in from the future homeowners to pay off the bonds that they have in place in order to build the infrastructure. So that's pretty much the role of the board.
Okay.
All right. So how does a special taxing district pay for its capital needs and general operation costs? Well, a special taxing district is authorized to use a number of different ways to raise revenues. Most common, levying taxes, imposing fees and charges. We're going to talk about the levying taxes because that's what most directly affects us and our clients in the real estate industry. But before we jump into that, I do want to differentiate between what a special taxing district is and what an HOA is, because I do get a lot of questions. Well, what's the difference between the two? And a special taxing district, it's just for providing the infrastructure to the community. The HOA's responsibility is for enforcing the covenants in the community, which uphold your property values. So an HOA charges monthly or quarterly or annual dues. They do not levy taxes. Special taxing districts typically don't charge monthly, quarterly, or annual dues. Instead, it's part of your annual property taxes. So there's the difference. HOA enforces covenants. Special taxing district does not.
Right. Now, how about the people, though? Do we get into that a little bit later? Because the HOA is what? Homeowner Association.
Right.
Which is ran by the homeowners. And the homeowners elect those that are on the HOA, those that are on the architectural committee, those that are on the enforcement. That's controlled by the homeowners.
Yep.
Special taxing district
is controlled by the board of directors,
which is governed by the developer.
Right. And the developer appoints. They don't elect.
So the homeowners don't have a say in this.
Exactly.
Other than the way you vote for cities and elected officials. But I mean, that's big picture stuff. You do not have control over your special taxing district and over your area.
Exactly. Yeah. And of course, when they go to change the mill levies every few years, the homeowners in the community will vote on that because
Right.
that's typically when the schools get more money, or if your community needs to improve something or modify something or change something, you do have the right to say, yes, we want to fund more than what we're doing now, or no, we don't. And that's going to be kind of at your discretion. So the initial mill levy rate is set by the developer when the special taxing district is formed, and that does not go down.
Yeah.
That only goes up. So, all right. So there we go for HOAs. So each taxing district has to file transparency notices with the state of Colorado. And I think this is done annually.
Yes.
So this is where we're going to kind of get into the nitty gritty of how you know whether a community is in a special taxing district or not. And again, it's not your job to do this due diligence on behalf of your buyer, but we want to arm you with the information that you know where to go to find information to supply to your clients, and just so you're more well-rounded on what's going on in your local market. So we're going to click on the very first link that we have here, and it's going to take us to the Special District Association of Colorado, and you all are going to get access to these links. But basically what it does is it alphabetically groups every single special taxing district in the state, not just in Denver metro area.
Wow.
So you can go alphabetically through and toggle, and if you click on, let's just take the one at the top, Hamilton Creek. If you click on that and you open it up, it will tell you information about that metropolitan district. So it gives you the address. It tells you when their board meetings are, date and time. It lets you know if there are any notices of proposed rate increases, penalties, tolls. It gives you right here in the middle, you can see current district mill levy. That tells you what the mill levy is for that special taxing district. So it's 40 mills. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that means and how it translates. And then if you scroll down even further, it will tell you who all the board members are and a contact information for each of them. So it gives you some good information on that taxing district.
Really
So
helpful.
to work, anytime you work with a buyer, really that's buying any home, whether it's new construction or existing construction, it might not be a bad idea just to send them a link to this website. So if they're curious about the subdivision they're moving into, they've got all this information.
Because chances are they're in a special district.
Yeah, I mean, because there's 3,000
3,000 of them.
I would say anything that has been built in the last 15 years is in a special taxing district. And anything that's coming out of the ground right now is definitely in a special taxing district. They're very few and far between, the communities that aren't. So let's pull up the second link because it's going to dive a little deeper into the Colorado Department that has put together this really good website for us. And again, it's all alphabetical order, so you can run through and take a look at all of these different special taxing districts. And what I want to show you are the tabs at the top of the screen. So if we go back up, there's a property tax and entities tab. And this is our quick glance tab. And what I love about this is you can see in these columns, there is a column, 4 columns over, and it says 2019 total levy. So at a really quick glance, you can see what the property taxes are for every single community. So that is the mill levy rate, 7.6, for example, for that very top one, 258 for that second one, 40, 40, 60, and you can kind of go down the line. So if you had a buyer that was looking to live in, let's just pick one of these. Let's keep scrolling. Let's find something fun. How about, I thought I saw Anthem. Let's go to Anthem West Metropolitan District in Broomfield. So they have a really low mill levy. Theirs is only 29. So the way this works is this is per $1,000 of assessed value. So when you see 29, it's actually 0.029. So it's 2.9% is what that actually equates to. And that percentage is calculated off of the assessed value of the home. So if the assessed value of the home is 500,000 times 2.95%, that's what the property taxes are going to be for that home. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me. I get it.
All right, awesome.
So I mean, that's
That's
a
a low one.
That's a low one.
That's a really low one. Yeah, absolutely. When you're looking at some of these,
What's Highlands Ranch?
Highlands Ranch is 93.
93.
So 0.93.
Gotcha. Okay. So that gives, that is very low.
That's an extremely
And
low.
it depends on, I mean, most likely the larger the development, probably the lower your mill levy is going to be because you have more people contributing. Again, it depends on what all the amenities are. But if you have a small community, such as
Ravenna, for example, down in Littleton.
Beautiful place, Ravenna, Littleton, gated, guards, their own water system, but there's only a few hundred homes in there.
Yeah, there's like 250 properties.
A golf course, I mean, there's a lot going on there. And what's their mill levy?
Let's take a look. We're going to go to the R's for Ravenna because I don't remember off the top of my head, but it is much higher than what a lot of these are. So Ravenna Metropolitan District. So their special taxing district mill levy is 77. So, and then you add in all the other municipal.
Right,
services.
Because that's not their HOA or any of that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Okay. So I get the mill levy.
Yeah. So the other thing that you can see on the screen is we won't click through, but it does have a column for view filings, and that will take you to all the documents that community has put on file with the Secretary of State. So all their budgets, all their financials, and then you can actually have your clients read through that to see how stable is this special taxing district. The other thing that you can see in the far right-hand corner is the 2019 assessed value. So basically that shows that when all of the mill levy fees are collected from the existing homeowners, that's about the volume of revenue that they'll bring in to repay that bond. So you can read through the filings and see how much outstanding debt are on the bonds to know whether this is a community that's going to have to restructure when the balloon payment is due. For example, Ravenna, we're fairly familiar with that. We had some clients that were looking down there and they owe $82 million in bonds that are due in 2032. Ravenna doesn't bring in a whole lot of money because it's such a small community. They bring in 19 million a year. So when the bond is at an 11% interest rate, it's pretty hard to catch up.
Yeah.
So a lot of these communities are going to have to restructure. So when you're hearing some of the home builders say, hey, this is just a temporary thing. Once the bond is paid off, this mill levy goes away. Just anticipate that these mill levies are going to be around for a really long time. It takes a long, long, long time to pay off these bonds.
And that's what really has sparked us talking about these more, because there was a article here 6-8 months ago in the Denver Post about people in areas where they're having to raise the mill levy to cover some of these costs and everything, and it's pricing people out of their homes.
Yeah. And so that's what the struggle is right now, is you will have a buyer that wants to go look at a new construction community and they have no idea about these special taxing districts, nor do you really have a ton of information unless you're watching this class. And they'll say, you know, hey, I hear that the taxes might be a little bit higher up here. You know, what's the deal with that? And you can direct them to this information. But I think what's so tricky is the builders, and this is not a knock on builders, I just don't think that they're as educated on what they're supposed to provide either. The buyer will sit down with the builder, and I just did this a few months ago with one of my clients. We went to a KB home, new home community, and we're sitting there in person, pre-COVID, going through the purchase contract. And they get to the page, it takes an entire page, and it's titled Special Taxing District, and it's in bold print. And he says, this home may be located in a special taxing district. It's your job to do additional due diligence. And he keeps going down, and he says, initial in the corner, do you have any questions? And my buyer says nothing because he doesn't know. And I say, well, is this home in a special taxing district? And the sales associate looks at me point blank and says, it might be. And I said, you work here. You either know it is or you know it's not. And he says, yes, it's in a special taxing district and the mill levy rate is this and it includes, and he starts rattling off all the information. But I had to really press him. So legally they have to disclose that it could be in a special
That it
tax.
could be.
They don't have to tell you if it is and what that mill levy rate is. So when you're looking at, and property taxes get assessed on odd years. And so or on even years, no, on odd years. And so when a buyer goes in during 2020 and they purchase a new construction home and they see their very first tax bill is $800, that's because the county's assessing the undeveloped land. Right. And when it gets reassessed on the odd year, 2021, all of a sudden their tax bill is $5,000 and they call you and go, whoa, what just happened? That's why. Right. So be real careful. Impress these builders because they know the information. They're just not forthcoming with it. And
and there's part of your value in helping people buy new construction is asking these questions and asking how this is going to affect them and for them just to say it may be, that's crazy.
And then when I ask the second time, it may be. Well, yes, it is. And here's the mill levy rate.
Yeah. Interesting.
But that was before I knew all this information. And now I can go on the website and I can take a look and say, yes, I know. And so what you're going to do with residential resale transactions, you will look at the legal, actually with new construction and resale, you're going to have to look at the legal description in order to determine which subdivision these properties are located in, because there's a lot of different filings. Right. So keep that in mind because each filing is different and can be assessed differently. So if you're living in Copperleaf, filing 1, you would look under that versus Copperleaf filing 10. Those are all going to look a little different. So every community has multiple filings. Make sure you just look at that legal description on county records to determine what your go-to is as far as what the rates and stuff are. So
great.
do you have anything else to add to that? I do have one demo that I do want to do for you guys just to kind of show you what a real life scenario looks like. We're going to use Douglas County as our example. And so when you have a buyer that's going to be purchasing a home, whether it's resale or new construction, you can type in the property address and I'm going to show you how you find the mill levy rate. So we're just going to take a property in Highlands Ranch and pull it up. Every assessor website is going to look a little bit differently, but you're going to be looking for the same things. So the way Douglas County formats their website, over on the right-hand side, they've got the account type, which shows residential, and then it shows the legal description of the property. And right under that, it's going to show you what the assessed value is of the property, as well as the 2020 tax rate. So 9.3 is the tax rate. That's because it's in Highlands Ranch, and it's under that 93 mills. So it shows you right there. We can actually go down even further and get more information under the tax authorities tab. This will break down every single thing that goes into that mill levy. So you've got your schools get 35 mills, Douglas County government gets 19 mills, Highlands Ranch Metro District, that's the special taxing portion. So the special taxing portion is 11 mills. Okay, well that's good because when I asked you what's Highlands Ranch, you said 93. 93. That was the total. That's the total. Mill. So Ravenna, when we compared Ravenna with Highlands 77. That's their special taxing is 77 versus Highlands Ranch at 11. Okay. So yeah, Ravenna's up around 128 when you start adding in fire departments and police departments and schools. So Highlands Ranch has just such a low a wonderful job. Special taxing rate as part of their mill levy. So yeah, then you can see with the fire, law enforcement, public libraries, all of their infrastructure for water and sewer and transportation. So it makes up that 93. But when you're trying to articulate to your buyer what the special taxing rate is, you're just going to pull out that piece for the Metro District. And it usually comes up with Metro District, and that's how you know it's in a special taxing district. If you don't see the word Metro District, then it is not in a special taxing district. So there you go. That's how you find it. Awesome. That's my spiel. That's your spiel. That's my open spiel. Forum, Q&A. I think the biggest thing is knowing that these exist. Yeah. Where to find the information and arm yourself and your clients so that there's not a surprise. That's the biggest thing. I don't want to say there's a good or bad. We need this. I mean, there aren't deep enough pockets out there to provide the type of infrastructure that we want nowadays. So it's a very ingenious way of doing it. But be cautious.
that you're working with people who are doing it properly and smartly, and that it's an affordable tax that your clients
Can do,
can
because
do.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure all of you saw those news spots, several months ago, where people could afford the monthly payment, they could afford the HOA fees, but when they got their first tax bill, they could no longer afford their home, and they had to sell their home because the taxes were just outpacing what they were bringing into their household.
Yeah,
So that's unfortunate.
definitely.
But you can go in not blindly by at least helping your buyers navigate what these fees are going to look like. And you can calculate out based upon the purchase price of the home what those annual taxes are going to look like. So hopefully that helps you guys. All right. Do we have
Cool.
any questions
Any questions
about this subject or
or
any
any
other
other?
real estate related topic?
Morning, Kevin. Morning, Ernie. Tanya, let's see. Still a surprise. I sold a few new homes and told my buyer taxes will go up and how much. Still got that call.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So by pulling this up, you'll know what the mill levy is. And you should be able, they should be able to calculate. Take the value of their house ish of
Yeah.
what they think it's,
Yeah.
what they paid
I mean,
for
just
it.
take your purchase price
Times your mill levy.
that
Don't
mill
look at what
levy.
your current taxes are. Or, well, what's it going to be assessed? It's going to be assessed somewhere around what they
What they
paid
paid
for.
for it.
So they can calculate that immediately.
Exactly.
So that's a great way to keep it from being a surprise.
Yeah, and that can be done in any scenario. I mean, it doesn't
Oh,
even have to be if
yes.
it's in a special taxing district. If you just want to let your clients know what their property taxes are going to be, pull up that mill levy rate and calculate that out. And all new construction properties, before they're permitted, everything goes into the county, and so the county updates their website. So even dirt lots that haven't been built on, you can find them on the county website because it's all part of that site plan. And so you can see what that mill levy rate's going to be once that home is constructed. So there's no reason, even on a dirt start that's going to take 10 months to build, you can still calculate for that at the very, very beginning of contract.
Yeah. This I don't know the answer to this. Maybe you do, Stacy. If you're listing in Iris, they have to identify if it's in a metro district. Is that a box on RE Colorado?
It is not, and I wish we did have that box. I mean, it does put a lot of liability on the agent to be able to research whether something is in a special taxing district or not, but I do love that Iris has that feature because then you know automatically, yes, it is or no, it's not. And
Yeah.
RE Colorado does not have that. Yeah.
As of now.
As of now. Yes.
Let's see. Lori Raditz. What is the difference between special districts and metro taxing districts?
There really is no difference. That term is interchangeable. So you will hear some people say metro district and special taxing district. They are the exact same thing. Yeah. Good question, Lori. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Rocio, is it enough to ask the sales rep from builder how much are taxes for the property?
Well, the sales associate isn't going to know what the taxes are because the house hasn't been fully assessed yet. So you can definitely ask them if they know what the mill levy rate is. And then you, based upon what the purchase price of the property is going to be, can extrapolate what that information is going to look like. But the sales associate is not going to put pen to paper and guarantee that this is what the taxes are going to be.
Yeah. And when getting qualified, I mean, the lender is going to roughly estimate what the taxes are going to be. But again, I would go to these sites, to the county site, pull up, you can pull up the mill levy and know exactly what percentage of assessed value they will be taxed at when it's fully taxed. So I think that's a must, that you give them direction on how to do that. Not that you're sitting and calculating it for them, but that you, hey, here's the website, here's the mill levy.
Here's what your purchase price is going to be, so we can guesstimate.
You should be able to guesstimate what you're going to be paying when they fully assess it.
Exactly. And that's really only on new construction that we have to worry about that. On resale, well, the taxes are already being disclosed in the MLS, and they're not going to fluctuate a whole lot unless they pass something recent with a mill levy change, which communities do. But the taxes from one year to the next are going to stay pretty close. Obviously being mindful that as home prices go up, properties are reassessed with the county, and then your property taxes go up. And that's why every 2 years we get phone calls from our previous clients saying, how do I protest my property tax bill? And it's like, well, it's good that your taxes are going up because that means your home value is going up.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I'm not seeing any other questions, so
Awesome.
you must have done a great job explaining it.
Well, hopefully.
Again, we'll upload those links. I think those are very helpful for you guys, and to
and spend some time playing around with this. I mean, it
Yeah.
took me months and months before I actually got a real grasp as to how does this work and when do they occur and why do they occur and where do they occur, and just playing on all these websites and toggling through different things to see what information is out there for the general public. And there's a lot of information. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we will get the presentation uploaded to the comments section of Facebook Live, and then you guys will have access to everything that we just talked about today.
Yeah, and we'll have the links up on Facebook for you. So that's what people are asking.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. You guys have a great day and a good rest of your week.
Take care. See you guys soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.